MLB Tonight continues. This has been a flurry of action. Just on Wednesday alone, the Chicago Cubs signing Marcus Stroma to a 3-year, $71 million deal as they now get an ace to pair with Kyle Hendricks. The Los Angeles Dodgers, okay, they lose Max Scherzer to the Mets, but they re-sign one of their key pieces. He's so versatile. Chris Taylor, 4-year, $60 million deal. Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks, okay, a team trying to obviously improve and move their way up in the NL West. They'll sign Mark Valancia, who's been a terrific reliever. 2 years and $14 million contract there. Rich Hill. Now, this is interesting. Chris Benetti, our researcher, reminded me, remember he was reborn with the Red Sox after the Long Island Ducks. Now he goes to Boston, 1 year, $5 million contract there to help with that rotation. The Philadelphia Phillies, they signed Corey Knebel. We know that bullpen needs help. Knebel will help that. 1 year, $10 million contract. And lastly, of all the moves made on Wednesday, the Brewers acquiring outfielder Hunter Renfroe, a good player, whereas the Red Sox acquire their former outfielder, Jackie Bradley Jr., who really struggled mightily. David Hamilton and Alex Binelas, a couple of prospects there. To help us sort through it all, not only Tom Verducci, but also Mark Feinsand joins us right now. Mark, honestly, a ton of fun to just see all these moves happening. It's a shame we have the specter of the lockout, which is obviously dismayed all of us, but these moves being made are awfully exciting. Let's start with the Dodgers. Taylor's one of those players that you go, he can do it all, play 6 different positions for $15 million a year. I think it's pretty good value.
Yeah, especially, excuse me, after losing Max Scherzer, after losing Corey Seager, knowing that Trey Turner is only there guaranteed for 1 more year. Taylor just offers them a lot of options. Right now, I would assume that second base will be where he sees most of his time. Trey Turner moving with shortstop with Seager gone. But, you know, if Cody Bellinger struggles again, he can play center field. He can play either corner outfield. You know, if Turner leaves a year from now, he can play shortstop. Like, he just gives them so many options. He's been such a good player for them and such a versatile piece. After losing Seager and Scherzer, it made perfect sense for them to bring Taylor back.
And, Tom, look at the outs above average. So basically a 0 means you're average, obviously a little bit below. But this is a guy who can play 6 different positions. So, fine, he's not spectacular at center field, but he's there at 6 different. You're not losing anything wherever he is.
Right, so that you have versatility, which is great, but versatility at a high level is very unusual. I mean, he's like the new Ben Zobrist. Right? Yeah. The only thing Zobrist did that Chris doesn't, it switch hit. Right. But Chris has got a lot of power as well. But I like the idea, as you said, you can put him anywhere. Listen, this is the best thing a manager could have. You have a player who is not just able to play multiple positions, willing to play them, even in the course of a game. So as you're making switches in the course of the game, you've got this chess piece you can put anywhere. Yeah. He is so valuable.
I think Taylor's business card says the next Ben Zobrist.
Pretty good handle to have, especially in today's world of analytics. Marcus Stroman. Tom, I love him, okay? Listen, I always loved him on the Blue Jays just because he's a little guy with a big mouth, but he also is durable. He made 33 starts for the Mets last year. He's got plenty of giddy up on his pitches. I think for Chicago, this is a really strong signing.
I'm with you. I mean, I like this guy. As you said, he's durable despite the size, and I know Marcus uses that to his advantage. I mean, he works as hard as anybody in the game, has held up well. What I like about him especially, too, is he defends the home run ball, which you have to do in today's game. Yeah. He puts the ball on the ground, doesn't give up a lot of home runs. That's important everywhere, especially at Wrigley Field in the summer. This really caught me by surprise. And I think a little bit Jed Hoyer talked about this as well. It's sort of like, remember, if there's a big forecast for a big snowstorm in the winter, you know the run on like rock salt or snow shovels? That's kind of what happened here in the last week on pitching. Yeah. And so Jed Hoyer is watching the starting pitching market just develop at warp speed. And it's like, I got to get in. I got to go buy a shovel. Yeah. Right? And he winds up with a really good pitcher. I mean, this is a great sign for the Cubs. I'm not sure they had this in mind when they first started out, but as he said, you can have a plan, but you better be able to be flexible with your plan as well.
I love the analogy. As we look at the starting pitching, to piggyback Tom's point, Mark, about ground ball pitchers, Stroman, Hendricks, Miley, down, 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 especially at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, and you know, they added Miley earlier in the offseason. They picked him up on a waiver claim from the Reds, and it sort of went under the radar. It's a pretty good third starter when you've now got Stroman ahead of him with Hendricks. You know, the Cubs, after what happened last summer with trading all these guys away, they needed to do something to show the fans that this is not a full-on rebuild. I think adding a guy like Stroman shows that they're going to try to win, and this is a division that's pretty winnable in general. So with that pitching staff, I'll be interested to see what other moves they make once the lockout's over, but I think, you know, it's certainly a very good move in the right direction for Jed Hoyer.
If you're going to have a staff like that puts the ball in play, you better have a premier defense. Yeah. I'd like, personally, a little more swing and miss in that rotation than they have. Yeah. But the Cardinals prove that as long as you have premier elite defense, because they don't strike out a lot of guys, the Cardinals rotation, it can play. That's a postseason team last year with not a strikeout staff.
Yeah, Cardinals, those 6 Gold Glovers. It's ridiculous how good they were. And Yachty could have been a Gold Glover. Now let's get to this trade, which I'm still trying to figure out here. So Hunter Renfroe's a good player. You give him up, you get a couple prospects back. But Jackie Bradley Jr., Mark, I'm sure he's a great guy. I know about his defensive metrics. He was a disaster offensively. I figure this out for me?
You'd have to think that the Red Sox would have been able to acquire those 2 prospects for Renfroe. Really good player, really helps the Brewers lineup. But to take on Jackie Bradley Jr., I think they're paying him $9.5 million. It was a head scratcher. I mean, obviously Boston knows him, although Chaim Bloom wasn't there when Jackie Bradley Jr. was there. Obviously, people in Boston know him. Alex Cora knows him. Must have been on board with the idea of bringing him back. I can't imagine he plays every day.
No.
You're probably thinking of a platoon situation. Take a little pressure off Jarren Duran. Also, probably moves Kike Hernandez back to second base and out of center field. So shifts around a few different parts, but I think that one caught most people by surprise yesterday.
Good trade for Milwaukee, obviously. I mean, I don't think they make the deal without having Bradley's money go back to the Red Sox there. And Renfroe, we talk about Bradley's defense off the charts, great, right?
Yeah.
How about Renfroe? That's a premier defender, one of the best throwing arms in right field. So he obviously steps in and replaces Avi Garcia. You don't lose anything defensively. You have that right-handed home run power now. Good deal for the Brewers.